What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Double M Motorsports. Today we are going to see what happened to the 305 that we ran for the Turkey Bowl. We're going to break that thing apart and see what's broken inside it. Stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so there she is in all her glory. Mike McCormick's 305 that we pulled out of his truck and threw in the car for the Turkey Bowl just so we could go out there and run some laps and see what this motor would do. And we found out about a lap and a half. So that's about what she would do. So anyways, we're going to tear this thing apart and see exactly what happened inside of it. I know Mike wants the crank out of the inside of it, so we'll tear it down at least that far so we can get that crank out. Got a bunch of work done on the car, just stuff that you guys already knew about. New upper control arm came in. I think that is going to work out great. I loaded it with the jack, and I don't know, the telemetry of it and everything like that seems like it's going to clear. So we will try it and see. Everything's buttoned up on there. Brake calipers are back on. I got this side all buttoned up. Brake calipers back on there. And then I've been playing around with the wiring. We got lights on the inside of the car. I've still got to wire up the switch, stuff like that. But for today, we're going to concentrate on this. So let me get you guys set up on the tripod, and we'll start tearing into her. Okay. I'm going to assume that most of you, if you're watching this channel, know what's going on inside of a motor, know how to take a motor apart. Boy, there's water in the oil. It is a milk shaky color. I'm going to return this dipstick to Mike too. He was awfully proud of that. Maybe he can put that on his new motor. We'll save that. But anyways, I'm going to assume most of you guys know, how to take apart a motor. We'll still go through it. For those of you who don't know, maybe you'll see something new that you don't know or don't know at all. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the distributor. This goes all the way down, and it's got a gear on the bottom of it. I'll show you when we get it out. That makes contact with the gear on the back of the camshaft, and it spins it, and that's what sends all the spark to all of the spark plugs to make your cylinders fire. So we'll get that taken off here real quick. And I'm not sure what size. I think I'll get through here. 9/16. I wish I had. I used to. I think I lost the back plate for it, the engine stand, to set these things on, to do a bunch of work on. All right, I'm going to take those out and just kind of give it a twist. Yep, and there's the gear on the bottom of that. This is probably still a good distributor, so I'll clean this up and we'll save that. Okay, next thing I'm going to take off is this. This hooks up my, it's one of the lines that come from the back of the motor. That may be my oil pressure sensor wire that goes into that. And this is just an adapter that kicks it out to a little 45 there, which makes it easier to hook that line in when it's on the car. So I want to get that off of there and save that for the new motor when we get one. Maybe. May have to get the hip saw wrench here. Thread that guy out of there. Without having an engine stand, I'm going to have to Next, we're gonna have to drain the oil, and I'm pretty sure there's probably water in there. And we'll get that down, get the pan off, see what's inside the pan, and then we can set this down so we can get the intake and stuff like that off, so we can take the heads off. So that'll be what we do next. I'll get you guys on time lapse for that while I'm getting the oil drained and the pan off. All right, I'm gonna let you see what comes out of here. I got a little bucket down here, so hopefully I can catch it and not make a big mess. Oh, that is nothing but antifreeze. The antifreeze always sinks to the bottom, and then we should get some oil here at the end. Get a towel. Don't go everywhere. That is a lot of antifreeze. I'm gonna have to put the plug back in and dump this little bucket. All right, here comes the oil. I'm gonna plug it. Dump this in a big bucket. Okay, so round 2 should be getting down to, there's probably not a lot of oil in there. There was a hole in the side of the pan, and so a lot of it leaked out on the way home and out there at the racetrack. Okay, here we have our first look inside the pan. There's so much water in there. That's a lower cap and a top cap there off one of the rods. There's a piston rod. Part of one. I reckon that's just parts and pieces. I don't think we dropped a piston. That's just a rod. Let's get up underneath there and take a look. See what we got. Okay, so here it is. We are all seeing this together. Wow. Mike, there's a piece of your, there's a piece of the camshaft. He wants that. I'm going to try to save all the pieces of the camshaft I can find for him. Looks like it was just the number, let's see here, it's 4, so that would be, well, that don't mean nothing. What side is this? This is the, that's Cylinder 4 and cylinder 3 were the two that gave out. Just those two there. Everything else looks to be intact. So we'll lower this thing down and get the heads off. See what we can see from the top side. Alright, so we got her on the ground. So next we will get this off. We'll take the intake off, and then we'll get the heads off of there. This is looking like it'll potentially be a salvageable block, maybe. Everybody needs a 305. Okay. It's got all kinds of different sizes on there. Thing I don't have is a harmonic balancer puller or a pulley puller. So we'll see how far into this thing I can get without that. Let's see, then we got one that's an Allen key up there, and then one that's a tiny X up here. What do you got going on here, Mike? Let's see how to work for that one. This was one of those, use what you got. Big. That'll work. Well, that'll work. Let's see. All right, see how. Give that some tappies. have any this Edelbrock former intake. Got a couple parts on that still. All right, here's the lifter rods there. Those two cylinders. Of course, you can tell the rockers aren't even connected. They're not even putting any pressure on the rods there, so that's a good indication something dropped. So just a bunch of dirt. Bunch of dirt inside there. All right, now we'll go through and we'll take off all the rockers, and then we should be able to take off the head bolts and get the heads out of there. 5/8 on the rockers. And you pull your push rods out. I can't remember if I showed you guys or not. I thought I did in one video. Two of the push rods, the end came all the way off. It should look like that, have a rounded one, but the ends came all the way off of two of them. The push rods go down and make contact with the lifters that are down here. The lifter's sitting there and they ride along with the cam, because the camshaft has, here's a piece of the camshaft. The camshaft has all those lobes on it, and when the lifter reaches that part, it pushes up the cylinder and down the cylinders to determine when your intake and exhaust cylinders open and close on your heads there. That's what the purpose of those are. If you didn't know, like I said, most of you guys that are watching this probably do know, but there's probably a couple that don't. I know my wife probably doesn't. Alright, so the head, this head's still good. Spark plug-ins are all still good. None of the valves dropped. That one still looks pretty good. Let's get you in here and look at the cylinder. And we got a little rust in there just from the water. We do have a cracked cylinder wall right there. You can see it. And that piston is sitting a little cockeyed in the cylinder. And one looks good. All right, there's that side. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is the left side head. Everything still looks good on that. That is a salvageable head. So let's take a look down the cylinders. Okay, cylinders on this side. This would be cylinder number 1. Cylinder 3 has a cracked piston. It's cracked right there in the middle. 5 looks good. This is just the head gasket here. It goes between the head and the block. Cylinder 7, that looks good. So just like we thought, cylinder 3 and 7, I may have called it 4. No, cylinder, yeah, that's right. Cylinder 3 and cylinder 4 are the two with damage. 4 had the cracked cylinder, and 3 has the cracked piston. So block is junk, and the rotating assembly is junk. Okay, so there she is. Without having the ability to, I need to go get a puller to get this harmonic balancer off. That connects to the crankshaft, and then the camshaft is actually up here. This is your timing chain cover, and you've got a chain that connects to the camshaft or the crankshaft. The camshaft connects to that chain. Everything rotates together based off the pulleys and the belts and all that stuff. So I need to get a harmonic balance puller to get that off to where we can get the timing chain cover off, and maybe we'll be able to get a bigger chunk of that camshaft out of there for Michael. And we were all going to do this. I was going to take this up to the shop so we can do it all together, but Michael's dropping he's got an LS motor that he's dropping in his truck now, so his shop is filled up. Nobody had really the time to get everything together and get this tore down, so I wanted to make a video to where they could see it all with me, see what all happened on here. It's hard to tell what probably went first. You know, there's no telling if that cylinder wall was cracked before. There's just no telling. It started making a knocking noise whenever Dave was out driving it for the test for the turkey bowl. And we were thinking it was a lifter, or the lifters are right there. I can't get that one out, but that's what we were thinking it was going to be. And it definitely wasn't one of those. So that is the damage we found. I'll get a balance puller and get this cover off and try to get more of the camshaft out for Dave or for Michael. But if I can't get it out, at least I've got this little piece for him here. So he's got a piece of the camshaft anyhow. That is going to be a wrap on today's video. Now we know what happened to the 305. That thing, it's got some good parts. We can still, use the heads and or sell the heads. And I'll see if Mike wants that intake. It's still good, but got him a piece of crank out of there so he can put that in his toolbox and it'll remind him of his dad. But appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave some comments. I like reading comments when we get them. Not very many people comment on these videos, but in due time. But appreciate you guys watching. Hope everybody stays safe here the next couple days with all the weather coming in here in the Midwest. And we will see you guys in the next video.